Grade 7s and 8s, we are almost at the finish line. Can you believe it? It's only 2 more weeks left of school. I just want to put a shout out there. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I know this year hasn't gone the way anyone expected to, but you guys have just been such amazing classes to work with. I'm really gonna miss you all next year. I'm hoping to come visit if you guys want me to. We'll see. But otherwise, thank you guys for just being such amazing classes. You have made my year at Cardi so memorable, and I'm really happy that, even though the year was cut off and I haven't been able to see you guys for the last few months, the time we did get to spend together was absolutely amazing. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. You have made my year absolutely memorable. So thank you guys once again. You will be missed. And I'm really hoping that maybe sometime somewhere we'll cross paths again. If not, I will try to come visit. But thank you guys so much. I really can't say it enough. All right, so moving on from that, we are going into our review as usual, and then we're going into theoretical probability. So as you guys have noticed, this has not been too difficult of a unit, at least I hope not. I want to have a nice, easier unit to kind of round off the year with. So that's why it's just been a little bit nicer, a little bit more relaxing, especially because now that the weather's all nice, I know you guys want to be outside and, not on the computer all day long, cooped up inside. So let's start off with our review. So this was our first chart about buying the car. So as you can see, that first column was already done for you right over here. So you had the option with getting the automatic or the manual transmission. Then these here give you the different options that you can get the car with. So let's say I get the automatic transition. I then have the choice of getting alloy wheels or instead of standard wheels. So my two choices from automatic transmission are either alloy or standard. So that's kind of where those two branches branch off to, is alloy and standard. Then let's say I choose the alloy wheels. I then have the choice of metallic paint or standard paint. So from here, it branches off to metallic or it branches off to standard. So let's say I choose standard paint. Then I have the choice of leather seats or standard seats. So from here, it branches off to leather or standard. Let's say I choose leather. So that's where you can see that branch kind of follows through. However, if you fill this chart entirely, you can see all the different options that are available to you, because then you have automatic, alloy or standard, then you have your paints, metallic or standard, metallic standard, and so on. And then you have your choice of leather or standard seats. So you have leather or standard, leather or standard, leather or standard, and so on and so forth. So with that all filled in, it gives you all the different options. So that's where B is coming in and saying how many possible combinations are out there. If you filled in this chart properly, all of these are your different options at the end. This last column gives you the different options. It's not every box. That's why the tree is designed a certain way, so that when you have your last column, you just count how many options are on the last column, not in the entirety of the tree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different options in total. All right, so those 16 different options represent all the different choices you can have with this particular set of options for the car. So there are 16 different combinations. All right, then our next question here. This one is similar to your first one. So you had the choice of gift wrap. You could either choose a rectangular or a square box. Then you had the choice of plaid or striped paper, blue or a silver ribbon, and then you had the choice of a green gift sticker or an orange gift sticker. How many different options are there in total? It's the same thing as the last question. This last column, provided everything was filled in, will give you the different options. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 different options. All right, so those are your total different options. If the customer doesn't want a square box, how many options do they have? So when you filled in this chart, one of these should have been rectangular and one of these should have been square in this column right here. That means, let's say this one here was, let's say this was square and then this branched off, and then this was rectangular and this branched off. If he didn't want a square box, he only wants a rectangular, this whole section here represents the different options from a rectangular box only. So to figure out how many combinations or options he has, you just split this chart in half right here down the middle, and you count these options right here in the last column. And that will give you the total number of options he has if he didn't want a square box. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different options. All right, because when you have those two different columns, you basically, if you're looking at the options without a square box or just a rectangular box, you're effectively cutting this chart in half and you're only looking at these options here. But again, our final options are in that last column because you're not counting every single option here, or else you're going to end up double counting. All right, and then your last question is, what would you pick? And that's completely up to you. So that's our little bit of a review. Today we are going into theoretical probability, like I said. So theoretical probability is actually a very simple formula. It is the chance of an event happening over the total number of events. So for example, flipping a coin. What are the odds of, if you flip a coin once, what are the odds of the coin landing on tails? 1. Actually, let me rephrase this. If I flip a coin twice, so I flip the coin 2 times, what are the odds of it landing on tails? Well, theoretically, there's 2 sides to the coin. You only have a 50-50 chance of landing on each. So if I flip the coin twice, I have 1 chance of it landing on tails out of a total number of 2 flips. So we've created a fraction. You have a 1 out of 2 chance of the coin landing on tails if you flip it twice. Or, as you guys will remember, turning fractions into decimals and percents, we are going to divide our top number by our bottom number. So 1 divided by 2, which gives us 0.5. And then to turn this into a percentage, we times it by 100, which gives us 50%. So this is what you're going to have. You're going to have, I'm going to show you some more problems on another slide, but it's going to be a scenario happening and you are putting in this formula. So the total events of it happening versus the total number of events, you just put it into a fraction. If you're typing out your answers, remember fractions can just be written out like this or like something like this. And then you're putting in the decimal, so you're just going to do comma 0 point whatever. So let's say comma 0.5 and then comma 50%. All right, so that's if you're typing it. If you're writing it out, you can write it out either just 3 together. So 1 out of 2, 0.5, and 50%. So this is just if you're typing it out because the commas help separate things, so it's a little easier for me to read. But that's how that's basically how the formula works. So it's the chance of that event happening versus the total number of events. So let's look at some problems here. All right, event, landing on the number 5 on a spinner with 4 equal-sized wedges with numbers 1 through 4. What are the chances of landing on a 5 on this spinner? 0. Let's say the spinner was spun 4 times. So I forgot to add that into here, but the spinner is spun, I know that's not the best way to word it, but we're going with it, 4 times. All right, so we have 0 out of how many times did we spin it? 4. So therefore, 0 divided by 4 equals 0 times 100 equals 0% chance of it happening. Now let's change it up. Let's say it is the number let's say the chances of it landing on the number 3. All right, so the landing on a number 3 with a spinner of 4 equal size wedges, numbers 1 through 4, and it's spun 4 times. If I spin the spinner 4 times, and provided there's nothing wrong with the spinner, everything's absolutely equal, how many times should I land on the number 3? Once, because I'm spinning it 4 times, and there's 1 equal sized wedge for 3 with all the others. So I should have a 1 out of 4 chance of it landing on the number 3. Then 1 divided by 4 equals 0.25 times 100 to get the percent is 25%. So I have a 25% chance of landing on the number 3 in this particular scenario. All right, let's look at our next question. Buying a faulty PS5 when 3 were found to be faulty and 224 were found to be fine. So we're trying to find the odds of getting a faulty PS5. So you have 3 that were found to be faulty. What's the other number in this equation? It's 224. However, in this case, you have to read the question fully. 3 were found to be faulty and 224 were found to be fine. Does that 224 include the 3 that were faulty? No, because it says 204 were found to be fine. So to find the total number of events that happened there, I have to take 3 that were the 3 to be found faulty plus 224 will give us the total amount of PS5s that were tested. So in this case, it was 227 that were found to be tested. That's the total number of PS5s that they tested. Okay, so I take the number that we're looking for, which is the percentage. So 3 were found to be faulty, and we're putting it over 227. So that is our total number that we're dealing with. 3 divided by 227 is 0. So you are allowed to round, by the way. 0.01 rounded. And then I times this by 100, which gives me 1.3, or just 1%. That means I have a 1% chance of buying a faulty PS5 out of the 227 that were tested. Okay, so you have to really pay attention to the wording here because, like I said, 224 were found to be fine, 3 were found to be faulty. So that means you have to add them together. You will see a couple questions like this. Some of them will give you the total amount. Some of them will give you the amount that something happened and the amount that another thing happened. So you have to add those two things together, like the 3 and 224. All right? And that's what you're going to be doing today. So it's just going to be some simple like sentences. For example, hitting a target on the black middle circle when 3 were found to be hit on the target and 10 were found not to be. So you're basically just punching it in. Remember when you plug in your answers, you give me this full amount. So you give me the fraction, the decimal, and the percent. And that's basically it. So you will have a Google form this time around if you so choose to use it. If not, then you have your regular PDF options. Another thing I have found with working with a couple of you is there is a way to type directly on the PDF for those of you who are not sure how to do it. I can help you out and try to do it if you so choose to, just giving you warning, it does take time and it's not foolproof. So if it's something that you are really, if you need to do because you just don't have any other option, talk to me about it, email me about it. But I'm giving you fair warning. If only take advantage of that or do that if you really have no other choice, just because it is very finicky. And it was, and as the student who I worked with can attest to, it took a lot of time to kind of figure out how to work it and to get it right. So it's an option, but only use it if you absolutely have to. All right. Otherwise, I hope you guys are doing amazing. You had a great weekend. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And if you have any questions whatsoever, email me. Sorry to those of you who I took a little bit of time to email this past weekend. It's been absolutely crazy. So I'm sorry about that. I do check my email regularly though, because sometimes I've been finding that it's not always notifying me that I have an email. But don't worry, I will get back to you. You know, you're not gonna slip through the cracks. Don't worry. So thank you guys. Hope you're doing amazing, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.